Hey guys, Jeremy here with KISS Aquatic Systems. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. In today's video, I thought I'd share with you the spring opening process for my goldfish pond. This is a small, neat little pond, I think. About a 6 by 8 foot footprint. 18 inches deep on a good day. And anywhere between, call it 400 and 500 gallons of water, depending, of course, on the fill level. As you can see, it was built into a rather steep hill, and there's a nice 5-foot tall rock wall on the back of the pond, which I think gives it quite a bit of character. Now, this pond is home to a small group of goldfish and a few of their babies. A rather large group of hitchhiker northern green frogs, and a pair of small koi. Now, in general, I'm not a big fan of keeping koi in small water gardens like this. But this is a bit of a special situation. These fish were given to me as a gift 2 years ago, and unfortunately they were stunted when I got them. So anyways, that's a bit of background on the pond itself. Let's jump into the opening process. So the first step to opening up this pond for the season is to take down the fall netting. I like to put up my leaf netting on my ponds in the mid-fall, so the late September to early October timeframe. Really before the big oaks and maples have had a chance to drop their leaves. Now, I do also have some pine trees overhanging this pond, so I decided to go with 1/8 inch mesh netting, which is quite fine. And does a good job keeping most of the pine needles out of the pond, in addition to obviously being very effective against the larger oak and maple leaves and acorns and twigs and such. This is a small pond, so I'm using a 10-foot by 10-foot net here. The hardest part, as you may have noticed, is ducking and weaving between all these shrubs planted around this pond. Okay, so now the net's gone, time for a big water change. I'm a big fan of water changes in general. They're a great and easy way to keep your pond water crystal clear. They flush out a lot of dissolved organics and waste, and in general help keep your pond more pristine and healthy. So we're going to do a 200-gallon water change here, which is about 50% of total pond volume. And we're also going to do it nice and slow, so as not to shock the fish. The first step is to add the Dechlorinator. Because I'm using tap water and dechlorinating directly in the pond itself, rather than treating the tap water beforehand, I like to overdose a bit. So I'm adding 500 gallons worth of Dechlorinator here, even though I'm only looking to add 200 gallons of new water. Next step is to set up the garden hose. Turn it on and measure the flow rate. I figure out the flow of water from the hose using quite simply an empty 1 gallon water bottle, as you can see, and counting how many seconds it takes to fill up. Looks like I set this hose up to add 1 gallon of water every 26 seconds, which is a bit fast to be honest, so I just slowed it down a bit to 1 gallon every 40 seconds, which is more reasonable, again, given that I don't want to shock the fish here. So at that rate, I set my timer, so I know I need to turn off the hose after a little over 2 hours. After setting up the garden hose, I've gotten my net out and a container to take out leaves or debris I can get. And there really weren't any leaves on the bottom of the pond, given how early I netted it up in the fall. So I put the net away and got started on my heron slash predator deterrent fencing. It's a simple DIY setup consisting of 3-foot garden stakes and 30-pound clear fishing line strung up on the stakes. As you can see, setting up the heron fencing is a fairly straightforward process. I really only have to protect the front of the pond here. The tall rock wall in the back and all the landscaping shrubs on the sides make it almost impossible for a heron to approach the pond from any of those angles. Now, we do have herons in the area, and they are aware of my ponds and fish. But with this method, I have not lost a fish in either of my ponds in the past 2.5 years. So seems to have worked, and fingers crossed it will continue to do so. So yeah, folks, that's really it. The goldfish pond is now open for the season and ready to get rolling. Water is clear, the fish are nice and relaxed, and of course they are already looking for food, which they're not going to get. The frogs have started popping their little heads out, and we are ready for another hopefully good season. It's been a long and cold winter here, one of the coldest that I can remember. So I'm definitely ready for the spring, and clearly my fish are too. So thanks folks, hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, and happy ponding.